yes, you read the title right. What type of God do you want to be? Because everybody has an opportunity to be God. And you might be like, no, that's not true. But then I'll read Psalms 46:10 that says, be still and know that I am God. You might be like, well, wait, what do you mean? Like, think about it. Like, you say that I am God. It's like, yes, you are, because we each are God. So it's a matter of being able to figure out, like, what type of God do you want to be? Do you want to be a God that is convenient to you, that is able to grant every wish, or are you willing to be a God that is omniscient, that is incurring suffering? Like, what type of God do you want to be? And if you aren't aware, this channel is all dedicated to helping you make more money, communicate better, have more confidence, be able to, go out into the real world and experience life in a new way that you never really thought that you could experience life in. Because, like, yes, anime is great and I still love it and I will continue to watch it most likely for the rest of my life. Well, at the same time, I still want to go out and have different experiences and think about different ideas. So this is what this channel is dedicated to. If you want to learn more about that or want to see more about this, you can subscribe to the channel for more. With that, all of that being said, there's been multiple times in my life where I was curious about this, and I found this teacher, this guy called Neville Goddard, which, if you've never heard of him, highly recommend checking out some of his teachings. He has a lot of information around, like, manifestation and using the power of the imagination and how we're just kind of living in a simulation. Because from my understanding, from what I've been able to see over this past year, over my past life, reevaluating and looking back, it's like, yes, everything is just a manifestation of myself, because I myself am God, as I just said. And you might be like, no, that's kind of crazy. We aren't God. Like, there's something outside of us, which there very well could be. Where at the same time, like, those beings are also channeling through us in a specific way to help us become God. Because Viola, or Bam within Tower of God, like, to other people on the outside, he seems like a god, but he's just been gifted with these certain traits, characteristics, and or abilities to be able to see and acquire knowledge within a very accelerated rate that most people aren't able to acquire knowledge in. Because within the first season, one of the game makers, the admin people, was able to be like, how did he learn this skill after just seeing it once? Because that's just what he's able to do. Something that I'm able to do as well too. Once I see it once I understand it, I don't make the same mistake again. And that's something that I've been able to come to and realize, that if I just see it and do it enough, and like I overcome and I think about this and I like analyze it and I visualize it in my mind, then all of a sudden it becomes true, because we are all gods incarnate, and it's just a matter of waking up to our own godlike ability. Because there was a time back in New Hampshire, and I've kind of relayed the story a little bit, but I figure I might as well relay it again, just because I find it valuable and I figure it might inspire you as well too. So when I was on this trip in New Hampshire, I ended up going out there and I was seeing these people, and I was like talking, and I was like, I want to see some things that I've never seen beforehand. I was having all these different manifestations. It was kind of tripping me out quite a lot. And one of these dudes that I ended up meeting at the bar, just like, I was like, yeah, I'll go to the bar. I ended up going to the bathroom when I first got there. I asked the dude, I was like, he had mala beads. I was like, those are cool mala beads. He's like, oh, thanks, man. Didn't think anything of it. He ends up coming to the bar. We ended up chatting a little bit more. He ends up saying the exact thing that I needed to hear at that specific time. And I was like, okay, this is mind-boggling. Like, how is he able to know this said thing? And then I wanted to explore more of that and more of that. And I had to leave behind a job that I really enjoyed, that I love doing, because I got to talk with all these people, and I got to interact with people, and I got to sell people, and I got to make more money than I'd ever made beforehand. But I was like, this is more important. This is more pressing. I need to understand this thing, because I'm like, if I can create a manifestation of me doing something that I had never done beforehand, case in point, being a god that is, say, all serving to myself, that is granting me every wish that I've ever asked for, because we always get what we ask for. We always do. Just remember that we always get what we ask for, regardless if it comes in the form that we want it to. It always comes in the form that it needs to. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. I'm just trying to drive that point home, because a lot of the times we want things, but it always seems to manifest or create in a different way that is most serving to us. Because when I went out on that trip, I realized that, like, things are manifesting in different ways that I did not know. Like, I ended up going and doing something that I'd never done. I was like, I typically, when I'm with people, I am always the person that's like talking with somebody, having an interaction with somebody. But I was like, you know what? I want to do something that I've never done beforehand, and have this time where I'm just like by myself. I get everybody together, we're all together, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm just the one that like gets ostracized in a sense. And when that happened, it made me sad, but it also made me very happy, because I was like, holy cow, dude, like, how does this happen? Like, this cannot be real. And yet it was. And I was like, this is crazy. And some of you might be like, no, this isn't how it works. But that's where I say, like, test it, try it, challenge it, start small. You don't have to start small if you don't want to, but you can start small if you need to, because all of this is just, it's all happening in ourselves, in our own head. And I was reading this book this morning called The Spiritual Brain, and let me see if I can find this line. I know I need to grab this stuff beforehand, you guys, so I do apologize for that, but there's this line in here where it says, oh, where are you at? However, we have no way of knowing. Oh, okay. So I think it was this. However, we have no way of knowing that other universes exist, or that we may have failed. No, it wasn't that. Okay. One way of understanding this is that the universe is top down, not bottom up. Mind comes first and creates matter. Matter does not come first and create mind. So there's this theory. I'll read you the whole passage, I suppose. This theory, okay, so actually let's go back. Intelligent design theory. The theory proposes that on the evidence, the present state of the universe is best interpreted as the product of intelligent causation or design, as well as of law and chance, does not hold that all events are intelligently caused, but does not rule out intelligent causes in principle. When evidence warrants, one way of understanding this is that the universe is top down, not bottom up. Mind comes first and creates matter. Matter does not come first and create mind. So I first had to create it within my mind to have this experience of being able to sit with these people or create this experience of being able to see this anime. Because like there's another movie called Gran Turismo. I highly recommend you checking that out. To me, when I went and saw that movie in theater, there was only 2 other people in the theater. It was me, family member of mine, and then one other person, and that was it. And then there's these aspects of it where it's just like you manifest this movie, and like to me, I knew that was for me. That was the word that I needed to hear. Like I did manifest that movie, just like you can manifest certain types of shows or certain types of animes or certain types of anything. And if you do that, like come back and let me know. Like leave it in the comments and be like, hey, I manifested this anime. I'd be like, dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. Because you do have the ability to create any reality that you want to create. That's why when I say like I went out there and I tried these things and I met this dude at the bar and then I was seeing all these things and I was like, this is crazy. Like there's no way. Like I've missed this whole thing my entire life. And now that I finally found this, I was like, I don't ever want to go back. I just want to experience understand this whole reality, because beforehand we always are manifesting everything, because everything is manifest, as I just read. Mind comes first and then matter. So like you first have to visualize it within your head and then it starts to come out, because you can look around, as I look around all the time. You can see a computer, you can see a phone, you can see paper, you can see a pen, you can see a bike, Legos, hats, books, whatever it is that you have around you, pens. I said pens twice, but nonetheless, you get the point. All of that came from within somebody's mind first. So it came mind and then it became matter, like matter that you can physically hold on the external. Nothing is coming outside of you. Like nothing has ever been outside of you first. You can be like, well, trees, like, okay, sure, trees, maybe they were, but like you also aren't able to perceive those trees unless you're around trees. Like if you're in a city, trees, quote unquote, don't exist because you aren't there, but you're like, but they do, but they're only existing because you're able to observe them. And that's why I say, like, what type of God do you want to be? Do you want to be a God that is always granting wishes? Because you can have every wish granted in the most easy, simplistic way, or you can make it challenging. You can go through these different trials and tribulations, as I was talking about the other day. You can always be tested, or you can just accept the fact that like good things are always happening. Good things are always working towards you. You're always getting views. You're always getting money. You're always getting payments. You're always getting clients. You're always getting constant recognition for the good that you're doing, for the services that you're providing. And if you start to think about it in that way, then all of a sudden those things are just going to happen, because that's just how this world works. That's just how the universe works. Obviously, if your belief systems aren't at that point, then you're going to have to sit some time and you're going to spend some time alone, or biking, or riding, or journaling, or like getting all this stuff out to change your belief system. Because as soon as your belief system changes, then everything else just kind of follows as a byproduct to that said thing. And that's where I say, like, our audience is the way that it is because you guys are the only ones that are able to resonate with this message that I have right now, especially you in particular. And I know you know that I'm talking to you because you were the one that decided to create this said thing with me and share this experience with myself, because you resonate with the idea that, yes, animes are great and I love them and they're wonderful and they're beautiful and I love every single aspect of it, and the stories that they say are very emotionally driven and they make me feel certain ways. And at the same time, I know that I want to have more from my life. I want to be able to go out into the world. I want to be able to talk to women or men, depending, because I have like 9% of a female audience, so like that's pretty cool. But like if you want to go out it is kind of cool. If you want to go out and experience the world in a different way, you get to be the one that gets to decide how that different way is going to be had. It doesn't have to be in the ways that you want it to be, but like we decided to co-create this experience together to be able to share this said like lesson. And I'm just the one that's presenting to you the things that you yourself need to hear, because you're already hearing them on the inside of yourself. You just might not necessarily be aware of that. So you already do know in the depths of your soul, and maybe you're unaware of it, but like you do know that you are God, that you are the universe experience in itself. I can't remember the exact person that said that, but that's what we are. We are just the universe experience in itself. Because like if you think about it, when you were first born, you didn't know anything until you became 4, and then you started to become conscious. And then once you started to become conscious, you started to develop your own ideas and experiences. But up until that point, you were basically helpless. And then when you die, it's like, okay, well, you just basically die. And then where do you go? It's like, I don't know. And once you die, like the world around you ceases to exist. Like it's no longer true. It's no longer here. It's no longer happening. Like you're no longer aware of this said feeling or these said experiences until you say go back to a different world, to a different experience that you never really had. So like there's a modem that I have in my house as well too. And this just kind of tripped me out because like I never touched the modem. And yet the modem is like a Wi-Fi thing, and it has like these different like things on it that like move up to like give me different signals. And typically they're always like straight up, but sometimes like they'll be turned, and I was like, I don't remember ever turning that, but then like they do turn, like because I don't touch it, I just leave it as is, and then all of a sudden it just changes. It's like, how does that happen? Or you get to a certain place and maybe there's a certain song playing, or you hear the exact word that you needed to hear, or you show up at a place and you meet somebody that you needed to meet at the exact time that you needed to meet them, or you hear a video such as this right now, and you're like, wow, this is the exact thing that I needed to hear, because we decided to create this reality together, to share it with one another so that we could develop ourselves in a new way that we didn't originally have ourselves developed in, so that we could explore, so that we could experience, so that we could feel different things that we had never felt beforehand, which I find to be incredibly insightful and impactful. And if you ever need help on identifying these things within yourself, I do offer one-on-one personal coaching, which you can book a call down below in the description. I just want to help you out. I want to help you gain some clarity. I've had my own coaches, my own consultants, my own other people that have been able to inspire me to help me find clarity in this, along with having other people that challenge me. So like if you don't believe in these things and you just want to talk and just be like, I don't believe in any of this, it's like, okay, cool, like let's have that discussion as well too. Or if you're like, hey, I found these things and I'm having these similar experiences where I've been running into people and they've been telling me the exact same things that I need to hear, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of a trip, but I don't know how to think about it, I don't know how to experience it. That's where I can also help out. Or if you just want somebody to talk about like the anime that you're watching or whatever it is, like I'm here for you in the best ways that I can be, because that's what I do. That's what the guy at the bar did for me. Like he gave me the exact words that I need to hear. I told him I was crying to a complete stranger, which I had done beforehand as well too, at a certain time when like this guy ended up channeling into like his body, and he was saying the things that this other person had said. I was like, dude, how are you saying these things? Like this is just, it's tripping me out. He's like, you're hearing the exact things that you need to hear right now. I was like, and it was just like, what? Like this does not make any sense. And I was just like, I need to understand this more, because if this is the case, if this is the world that we actually truly live in, then that means that I can create any being, any reality, any experience that I have ever wanted to create in my entire life. And if I can do it, you can do it as well too.